closer in time.
Around the time of his 78th birthday, incomparable music legend Paul McCartney discovered roughly 1,000 previously unknown photographs he had taken when he was about 22 during the height of Beatlemania, many from the Beatles' 1964 North American tour. About 3 years after the discovery, 275 of some of the best of these photos were published with accompanying commentary and reflections by Sir McCartney himself in the book 1964, Eyes of the Storm. Before there were the Beatles, there were the Quarrymen. About 1 year after John Lennon founded the Quarrymen, he recruited Paul McCartney. A few months later, with some cajoling by Paul, the band recruited Paul's school chum, George Harrison. A few months later, the Quarrymen recorded a single. The studio accommodations were Spartan. A single room mic recorded the band directly to a single lacquer-on-metal disc. No copies were originally made, and for a number of years the recordings went lost, though they were ultimately recovered by John Lowe, who played piano on the recordings. On the A side is a cover of Buddy Holly's That'll Be the Day. On the B side, an original composition by Paul and George titled In Spite of All the Danger.
I'll do anything for you, anything you want me to.
The Church of England consecrated St. Mark's Church, located in the Greater Manchester area, about 7 months after the close of the U.S. Civil War, and at about the same time James Kearns created the Philadelphia Athletic Club. Hopefully you've seen that video. St. Mark's drew from a number of neighboring parishes, notably Gorton. About 15 years later, church leaders desiring a competitive athletic presence created a local football team. 7 years after the formation of St. Mark's West Gorton, the team became Ardwick Association Football Club. 7 years after that, the team became Manchester City. That same year, the club adopted their familiar sky blue home shirts. Having stood for over 100 years, St. Mark's Church was demolished for structural reasons at about the time Paul McCartney and Wings originally recorded their album, One Hand Clapping. Paul McCartney's first studio recording is closer in time to the formation of Man City than it is to his publication of 1964, Eyes of the Storm, by about 1 year. The birth of Paul McCartney and the life of Prince Albert. Legendary musician Paul McCartney was once an itty-bitty wee tot. Born to Mary Patricia, nurse, and Jim McCartney, former jazz trumpeter and pianist turned textile salesman and machinist in the Walton area of Liverpool, located about 35 miles pretty much due west of Manchester. Despite Prince Albert's short life, especially by today's standards, having passed at the age of 42, his name will be familiar to many people for any of a number of reasons. Prince Albert was the husband of Queen Victoria, the two of them being the great-great-grandparents of the recently late and very long-lived Queen Elizabeth. In his own right, he is known as an influential humanitarian, having been, for example, a staunch global abolitionist of slavery. The likeness featured on containers of Prince Albert, one of the world's most popular and long-selling tobaccos, appears to be that of Prince Albert's eldest son, Edward, an avid smoker who had ascended to the throne after Queen Victoria's death about 7 years prior to the introduction of Prince Albert by R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company. Some claim the brand name derives from a nickname given to Edward. However, the branding is almost certainly a marketing device drawing on the established good name of Prince Albert while bearing the then familiar countenance of King Edward. About 10 years after Prince Albert's death, Queen Victoria opened the Royal Albert Hall. This venue makes a lyrical appearance in A Day in the Life, the final song on the Beatles' album Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Paul McCartney is closer in time to Prince Albert than McCartney's birth is to McCartney's publication of 1964, Eyes of the Storm, by 175 days. Princess Victoria of Saxe-Coburg-Saalfeld, and the release of One Hand Clapping. Back in the day, royalty would sometimes marry across national boundaries. Princess Victoria of Saxe-Coburg-Saalfeld came from German aristocracy. Her first husband, Amaze Karl, Prince of Leiningen, with whom she had 2 children, was of roughly similar lineage. Amaze Karl died about 1 month prior to Princess Victoria's 28th birthday. About 4 years later, she married Prince Edward, Duke of Kent and Strathearn, of English royalty. Their first child, Princess Alexandrina Victoria, was born very close to 1 year later. The Princess Victoria's daughter, Princess Victoria, would be coronated as Queen Victoria about 1 month after her 19th birthday. 4 days before his 82nd birthday, Paul McCartney released the album One Hand Clapping. The album had originally been recorded by Paul McCartney and Wings shortly after the breakup of the Beatles 50 years prior to its actual release. Paul McCartney is closer in time to Princess Victoria, the great-great-great-grandmother of Queen Elizabeth, than his birth is to his release of the album One Hand Clapping by about 9 months.
If you see...
Excuse me, sir. Do you have Prince Albert in a can? You do? Well, you better let the poor guy out.
Mike Hanlon.